All right, everybody, peace. Welcome to the Started by the NFL show. Wherever or however you are listening, we're so grateful to have you here with us. As you guys know, I'm your host, Sean Cottle, and we are back, guys, covering the NFL with our first show of the 2024 NFL season. And we're so grateful to be back with you guys covering the NFL. And, obviously, the NFL is one of our biggest topics, biggest sports that we cover here on this media company. And listen, we're grateful and honored to be back covering the NFL. And what better way to start off this 2024 NFL season than by previewing what may be a possible AFC Championship matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to go ahead and get right into that, guys. But before we get started, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay up to date on all of our latest content that we post daily. And if you would like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/startedbobby/tip. And if you'd like to gain exclusive content from Started Bobby Show, be sure to follow us on Patreon. You can do so by going to patreon.com, clicking on the search bar, and typing in Started Bobby Show. That way you can gain access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. None of this is possible without you guys as fans, so we're so grateful and honored for all the love and support that you guys continue to show us day in and day out, and it is a blessing to be here. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? Like I said, no better way to start off our 2024 NFL season than by previewing what may be an AFC Championship matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. As you guys know, these two teams met up in last postseason's AFC Championship game in Baltimore. Kansas City came back, took the lead from Baltimore, and was quite dominant during that game. Baltimore had shown quite a few deficiencies during that game, specifically on the offensive end and their ability to get into a rhythm, moving the ball downfield. They had shown an inability to run the ball, and that was due to Kansas City crowding the box. And because Baltimore could not run the ball, it was difficult for them to get into any sort of rhythm throwing the ball downfield, because Kansas City was not worried about the passing attack of Baltimore. So what does Baltimore do during the offseason? They go and get Derrick Henry off the market, who was one of the best running backs on the free agent market. And Baltimore also shores up their defense by drafting a cornerback, Nate Wiggins, in the first round. They also drafted a tackle, Roger Rosengarten, from Washington. And they got some offensive weapons as well. They got Devontae Walker, wide receiver out of North Carolina, in the fourth round to attempt to shore up their offense. And listen, Baltimore is attempting to get back to where they were last year. They still have Zay Flowers and Nelson Aguilar and Rashad Bateman, and Mark Andrews is returning from injury as well. And they still have Isaiah Likely as well. So they have quite a few pieces for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, a player who obviously won MVP last year and is looking to build off of his phenomenal season that he had last year. There's quite a few questions for Lamar Jackson about where he stands in terms of being one of the elite level quarterbacks. I don't believe that there's any more doubt in my mind that Lamar Jackson is unequivocally, no doubt about it, a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. You could argue he's the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes. I can't realistically think of any quarterback that is better than Lamar Jackson outside of Patrick Mahomes. So that's why I am taking Lamar Jackson as the second best quarterback in the NFL as of right now. However, there's a lot of questions for Lamar Jackson in terms of what he's able to do in the postseason. We know that he defeated C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans last year in the divisional round. However, he came up short based on his standard in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City. And I say that to say that there's not many quarterbacks that can perform well against Kansas City and that can say that they defeated Patrick Mahomes in head-to-head matchup in the playoffs. The only two quarterbacks that can say that are Tom Brady, who is the best player of all time in the NFL, and Joe Burrow, who many consider to be a fringe top five quarterback. I don't believe so, but that's another topic for another day. There is nothing but space and opportunity now for Lamar Jackson to prove to the world that he has taken that next step in his career in terms of being able to elevate, not just play at the same level, but elevate his level of play in the postseason. And that's what it's going to take for him to finally get the recognition and the credit that he deserves, because you're not going to get the credit being Lamar Jackson. You're not going to get that credit. You're not going to get that prestige, that credit that you feel like you deserve until you perform well in the playoffs. And that's something that he hasn't done yet. Will he be able to do that? Will he be able to do that this upcoming season? I believe he's going to have a phenomenal regular season, as he always does. And how he performs in his upcoming postseason, that remains to be seen. But that's going to be his goal, should be his goal for Lamar Jackson, is to obviously get back to the AFC Championship game, but not just get there, but be successful, be proficient, be efficient, elevate his game, show that he's not just a regular season quarterback. And if you're Kansas City, you're looking at three-peat. This is obviously one of the best dynasties in NFL history. Some people are hesitant to call it a dynasty. I'm not. My criteria for a dynasty is you either win 3 in a row, or you win 2 and 3 seasons, or 3 and 5 seasons. And that's what Kansas City has done. They've won 2 and 3 seasons, and like I said, they have the potential to be the first team in NFL history to three-peat. There's no doubt in my, as of right now, Patrick Mahomes is the second best quarterback of all time, and I can make the argument that I believe that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback of all time. A lot of people say that's too soon, but I'm trending already towards Mahomes being the best quarterback of all time. I'm not just off talent, but just win percentage and impact. That's where he's trending for me. And if you're the offense for Kansas City, you get you get Worthy out of the draft, and you bring back Kelsey, and you bring back Hollywood Brown, and you bring back Mecole Hardman, and if I'm not mistaken, Hollywood Brown is actually out, and he'll be out until September 15th, which could play a factor in this game actually for Kansas City. But Kansas City is primed and ready to win another Super Bowl. And if I'm looking at the AFC, what teams come to mind as teams that could be a possible threat to Kansas City? Baltimore obviously comes to mind. Houston is another team. Cleveland is another team that, in my eyes, could possibly dethrone Kansas City as not just the best team in the AFC, but possibly the best team in the NFL. And this is in Miami, with the offensive firepower that they have down there. I'm not too concerned about Buffalo. I do believe Buffalo's championship window has closed. I talked about that last year. And the Jets, how healthy is Aaron Rodgers? How much does he have left in the tank at this stage in his career? Those are all questions that remain to be seen. In my eyes, Cleveland, Houston, Baltimore, and Miami are the biggest threats to Kansas City. And those are going to be the teams that are going to have the best chance outside of Kansas City of making the Super Bowl, coming outside of the AFC. And with this matchup right here between Baltimore and Kansas City on this Thursday night game, which is going to be on NBC. Right now, ESPN has the over-under at 47.5, and the line is at Kansas City -3. I actually do believe Baltimore is going to win this game. I believe that Baltimore is going to do a great job of establishing the run. I believe that due to Kansas City having a couple of injuries on the line, they're missing B.J. Thompson and they're missing Charles Aminihu. Both are going to be out until October 7th. I do believe that's going to play an impact on Kansas City's ability to stop the run, and Baltimore is going to continue to do what they do well all the time, and that's run the ball. Also, like I said, adding Derrick Henry to that backfield with Lamar Jackson just makes them that much more dynamic, and I believe that the weapons on the outside for Baltimore too are going to have a great game. Like I said, with Isaiah Likely and Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, there's and the tight end as well for Baltimore. There's a number of talented pieces on this Baltimore team, and like I said, I do believe that Baltimore will win this game. Right now, Baltimore win this game by a score of 24-17. Kansas City, once again, last year got off to a slow start, but they peaked at the right time, and I don't want to say that Kansas City is going to get off to a slow start as a whole for the season, but I do believe they're going to have a little bit of a championship hangover going into this game, and I believe Baltimore is going to be able to win this game at home to start out the regular season. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Leave your thoughts in the chat room. What's more likely for this upcoming season, Kansas City to three-peat, or for Lamar Jackson and Baltimore to win his first Super Bowl? Or what are your guys' thoughts in this matchup today or tomorrow, technically? Will Baltimore win at home, or will Kansas City get the road victory? Let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. But in our next segment, guys, we're gonna be previewing another interesting matchup. This time coming out of the NFC. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You're not going to miss it. Be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed the first segment of our show, we previewed the AFC rematch between Kansas City and Baltimore for week 1 of this NFL season. And in this segment, guys, we're going to be previewing a NFC matchup, very interesting NFC matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. This game's going to be played on Friday, streamed on Peacock, and this is a matchup between two of the best not the best, two of the best quarterbacks in the NFC, being Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love. Philadelphia is looking to bounce back from what many consider to be an off year, a down year for them, especially off their Super Bowl run the previous year from that. And Green Bay is looking to build off a season that many would consider in which they exceeded expectations, especially Jordan Love. Jordan Love is a product of what can happen when teams allow their first round picks to develop, specifically their quarterbacks. Too often times these quarterbacks are thrown in when they're not ready, being forced to start week one of the regular season as a rookie. And that is having a negative effect, negative impact on these players' development and growth. And you might get anomalies where players are ready to go week one, but that's very few and far between. I want to give a great example. Trevor Lawrence was a player that many thought was ready to go week one, start of his rookie season, and he looked like he was ready to go. He looked like he was going to be a great player, and don't get me wrong, he's a good player. However, there's been a very visible drop off in Trevor Lawrence's level of play from his rookie season up until now, and that is common. That's the consistent with these players, especially specifically at the quarterback position. You might get players that start off really strong, but the consistency isn't always there. Even Justin Herbert is another example who, once again, started out extremely hot his first 2 years, but there's been a bit of a drop off since then. And teams and owners, because that's where the decision is really coming down from. It's coming from ownership. Have to be willing to sacrifice 1 or 2 years of either mediocrity or, quite frankly, poor play in order to develop these quarterbacks. And the only reason you're willing, or you should be willing, to do that as an owner is because it's the quarterback position, the most important position in all of sports. No other position has as big of an impact on their team as the quarterback position. Knowing that, you have to be willing to do whatever and whenever it takes to ensure the success of players at that position on your team. And I understand that other players that don't play that position might not agree with that. That's okay. That is okay. If you do not have great quarterback play, you will not be successful. You will not win a Super Bowl. I don't care how great your defense is. I don't care how great your skill guys are. I don't care how great your defensive line is. If you do not have great quarterback play, you will not be successful. Look at the best teams in the NFL now. What do they all have? Great quarterback play. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, like we just covered in a previous segment. And Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Tua Tagovailoa. Plethora of guys. Even Aaron Rodgers, when healthy. That is the key to success for these teams. Josh Allen, if you want, Josh Allen. The key to success for these teams, CJ Stroud, the key to success for these teams is great quarterback play. Elite level quarterback play. And so you have to be willing to sit these guys for a period of time, 1 year, 2 years, in order to ensure that they're ready. And until teams and owners are willing to do that, we're going to continue to get inconsistent play at the quarterback position. People are going to say, well, look at CJ Stroud. He started last year and he had a great season. What about him? Well, that remains to be seen. We need more body. We need a bigger body of work. Let's see how he performs this year. Is he willing? Is he not willing? Is he able to take that next step? Remains to be seen. But in this specific matchup right here between Philadelphia and Green Bay, listen, this is something that many people have not talked about, but it is something that needs to be discussed. Is the championship window beginning to close for Philadelphia? So we know they made a Super Bowl run 2 years ago, and last year they lost to Tampa Bay in the wild card round. Is that window beginning to close? They re-signed A.J. Brown, and they gave Devontae Smith his contract as well, and they just traded for Jahan Dotson from Washington. So they have a solid receiving core, and they picked up Saquon Barkley as well, and they still have Jalen Hurts, like I said. They shortened the offensive line as well. Is this the year? Is this a make or break year for Philadelphia? I would venture to say that it is. If you can't win now with the pieces that you have, what else is it going to take for you if you're Philadelphia? So there is a heightened level of pressure for Philadelphia to win this year. As opposed to Green Bay, I believe that championship window is beginning to open. As San Fran begins to close their championship window as well, because I do believe San Francisco, their window is beginning to close. Other teams' windows begin to open. I believe Green Bay is another one of those teams whose their window is beginning to open because other teams, their championship window is beginning to close. And like I said, with the emergence of Jordan Love, Green Bay is going to be in prime position to not obviously win their division, possibly win their division with Detroit, but to compete for an NFC title. And Detroit is going to be one of, if not their biggest opponent coming out of the NFC in their own division, obviously. But if you had to ask me right now, the three best teams in the NFC are Detroit, Philadelphia, and Green Bay. Those three teams right now are my favorites to come out of the NFC. And Detroit and Green Bay, both of their windows, like I said, are beginning to open. And this is the last year for Philadelphia to have their championship window remain open. I believe that their window isn't as closed or as close to being closed as San Francisco's is, but I do believe that window is starting to creak a little bit if you're Philadelphia. And going into this week 1 matchup between these two teams, I do believe that Philadelphia is going to win this game by a score of 28-23. I don't believe the score is going to be an accurate representation of how the game goes. I believe that Philadelphia is going to do a great job of controlling the time possession by running the ball between the guards and allowing Jalen Hurts to throw a lot of balls between the numbers up the seams, which is something that he's continuing to improve upon. And that's going to open up the play action. And I do believe there'll be 2 or 3 big plays downfield of 30 yards off the play action. But I believe Philadelphia is going to be dominant in this game. And like I said, the score 28-23 isn't an accurate representation of the game. I believe the game is going to be more swayed towards Philadelphia, but the score won't be an exact representation of that. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Green Bay will win this game, or do you guys think that Philadelphia is going to win this game? And what are your guys' thoughts on each team's championship window? Do you guys think Philadelphia's championship window is beginning to close, or do you guys think it's still wide open? And what about Green Bay? Is their championship window beginning to open, or has it not opened yet? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. But like I said, guys, that is it for our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a wonderful show. If you haven't already, please be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay up to date on all of our latest content that we post daily. We'll be back again tomorrow with our college football show. Until then, guys, continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions. Until next time, peace.